Hello and welcome, my friends. My name is Mashed Potatoes, and this is going to be some sort of a new video. In particular, a video about how today's games sort of lack creativity in terms of their setting. So, the thing that got me started on thinking about this whole thing was a pretty good movie that I stumbled upon. Like, I was zapping through the channels on TV and I stumbled upon Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva. So, first of all, I myself, I've been a fan of animes for a pretty long time now, and I've always enjoyed how odd they sometimes were. I mean, if you take a look at, for example, Spirited Away, like it's full of nonsense. Talking pigs, goddesses of I don't know what, like little coal lumps running around. But I guess like despite this surreal world, they always build up emotions like nothing else. Like whenever I watch movies like that, I get sucked in. Like freaking visuals, music, characters, they go hand in hand and they just create something that pretty much today's games just fail to transmit, which is an emotion basically. It's just that I'm getting sick of these super standard games like set in the real world trying to be super realistic and preferably like have the player mow down countless waves of enemies or something like I don't know, Call of Duty. I guess. Um well I guess it used to be cool back in the days like shooting people and all that, but that was just because people they weren't used to or I guess I should say they were used to surreal stuff like Zelda and Mario and all that. But then they introduced like all these games like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all that, and it was something new to the world. Like people loved it because they haven't like they did not see games like that before. And like as those games got more popular, everybody started producing more of these like cookie cutter games, I guess you could say. And I'm just so sick of seeing them. So getting back to my inspiration of for this video was actually Professor Layton, and much like Spirited Away, and like movies like that, that movie has such an interesting setting. Like it starts off in some English freaking like rural village, and then it continues to take you to some huge theater made of gold and full of like this Art Deco artwork. And later on, I mean, the damn thing even turns into a giant ship and like sets off to explore some lost city. It's freaking amazing. So I thought, why can't today's games be this creative? Like, why does it always have to be dark, war torn, and I don't know, like some part of some military operation? I just want to explore unknown territory, experience some breathtaking adventure, and I guess what it all comes down to see the world like I did as a kid, like with so much to discover and conquer and all that. Of course, not all games that came out this generation follow this trend of like being overly generic, in air quotes. A few games have really managed to like deliver something new and something exciting, something that you pretty much just haven't seen before. So the first thing that comes to my mind should, or actually is, Bioshock. Bioshock is fucking, it's fantastic in my opinion. Like, I know some might argue that the shooter mechanics are not that good, and I guess, no doubt, they aren't, maybe. But what Bioshock did, like, amazingly was creating a believable and, at the same time, unique setting. I mean, it was so well thought out. Like, all the time, I felt like I was actually in Rapture. Like, funny enough, like, Bioshock starts much like Professor Layton, like in a typical, well-known environment. So, like, having the rural village in Professor Layton and the plane in Bioshock. And then it just takes you to this new world you have not ever seen before. And well, it's so absurd and you have to adapt to new rules. You cannot trust anybody. It's new and it's exciting and I love the game for that. So, even up to this point in time, like I find Bioshock Story to be pretty much one of the best in gaming history. And Rapture is probably the most imaginative place like anybody has come up with, in my opinion. So then Secondly, a game that I should mention would be Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Yes, I guess you could probably list any Zelda game at this stage, but Wind Waker, like what it did to me emotionally, cannot compare to any of them. Like I love how this game lets you be a kid again. It throws you out into this like whole new world with so many secrets. There's always the outline of an island somewhere in the distance. Always a bunch of charismatic characters around. And they just make the world so lively. Like conquering the ocean has always been fascinating to me. And like with the music and everything, well, I felt like I was on an epic adventure. Like another thing that also adds to this is the art style actually. The cel shading look of Wind Waker is, well, the best of its kind in my opinion. No other game with this like art style has looked so believable, and it's almost dreamlike, and I just love it. So lastly, there's Assassin's Creed. Yes, I know, I admit it. The first Assassin's Creed did not really have the best game design. In fact, it was really repetitive, got annoying after a good while, and the two like add-ons, I guess I should say Brotherhood and Revelations, they were not the best idea, well, Ubisoft has come up with either. If anything, they destroyed Assassin's Creed a little bit for me, but once again, what they did do right is create a setting that nobody has ever seen before. Something mysterious, something new. I mean, who of you out there thought, wow, how generic, when you were like transported into medieval times to uncover some conspiracy that even lasts until like the 21st century. And I'm really looking forward to Assassin's Creed 3 as well. Like it looks very promising so far, and I hope they get the whole sea travel mechanic right, where you can like steer your own ship and all that. I think it would be so awesome if you could like go to different islands and explore them. And yes, I'm a sucker for sea adventures, and they're most likely not going to implement a feature like that, but it's just an idea, hey, don't judge. And another game that I'm really looking forward to, besides Bioshock Infinite obviously, is actually Far Cry 3. So Far Cry has so far never really stood for a good story. It's always been more about gameplay, and I guess I mean shooting people in the face by that. And while they made some efforts in Far Cry 2 to include exploration, the world just didn't seem alive. As enemies, they would just like always be back at their checkpoints. There were hardly any animals around. You just didn't get immersed. So this time around, they could possibly create something new and even emotional. And, well, that's basically just because you have those like psycho terror elements and, I don't know, drugs, and hopefully they will be able to actually like let you explore a living environment. But I guess we'll have to wait to see if that works out. Yeah. So let's wrap up this video. I just want to say that I don't want to sound like some cynical ignorant, always like saying, meh, today's games suck, everything was better, people suck at making games, Call of Duty, more like crap of duty. Well, all I'm trying to say is that what we got here, video games, they can offer so much more than other medium out there. So why not make this something bigger than just copying and pasting the same games over and over again? I just want to see new worlds, like be faced with new situations, adapt to new rules, and I mean, damn, even break these rules and see just how the world reacts. Like, I'm not saying that from this point on, all games should contain vast, fantastic worlds, all like unique and scenario of some, I don't know, like epic mind-bending story or something. I just wish to sometimes delve into worlds that are not just limited to like the typical battlefield or space station, but instead just like deliver something new. And as I mentioned before, just let you feel like a kid again. Alright guys, that's it, my rant is over. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to provide me with some feedback, and even more so with your opinion on this whole topic. Do you agree, disagree, and why is that? Anyways, my name is Mashed Potatoes, and hopefully see you soon. Peace.